What's up, you guys? King of Steams here. Today I'll be making my first ever video on YouTube, and I'm gonna tell you why I made it, why am I so inspired of making a YouTube channel, and also what is the reason why. The I started making the YouTube channel because I was inspired of all these other YouTube channels, like TFIL, my best friend Lego Train 489. I'll put him in the description down in below. Follow him, and also all these other amazing YouTubers. Um, what I'll be mostly doing on this YouTube channel will be mostly doing unboxing reviews, um, railroading, mall railroading stuff, visiting places. I'll also be going ghost hunting with some friends of mine, going by myself. I'll usually go with people that are my friends, but I'll sometimes go by myself. Like, oh, the reason why I want to have people with me when I'm going ghost hunting is because of like how all these other famous YouTubers or famous ghost hunters, like Ghost Nation, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, all these other famous ones. Um, the reason why I want to do that is because they have people with them. They're like a group, and that at least they have witnesses with them. Like if something happens, other people see what the other person saw. Because see, that's one thing I've noticed by looking at all these YouTube channels and stuff like that. Like, lost these YouTubers that are like going ghost hunting by themselves, by only just one person. Like I've seen in the descriptions and in the chat box that lots of negatives, and there is some positive talks in the chat box, but there's more negatives because they say that they don't believe it, or they didn't see nothing, or anything like that. But when there's like a group of people, it's different because there's a bunch of people, and if another person sees what the other person saw, then it's more believable. Like, yes, there's people out there that don't believe in ghosts or spirits or anything like that, or even the demonic. And I have no problem with that. I used to be that kind of person as well. I didn't believe in any ghosts. I didn't believe in the spirits or anything like that. The only ghost I believed was the Holy Ghost, and that's the only thing I believed in. But the reason why I started believing in ghosts and the paranormal and all that stuff was because ever since my grandparents passed away, I've started seeing and started hearing stuff. Not like normal stuff, like faint voices, seeing shadow figures, stuff like that. Like one time that happened to me was when I was at my club, and I'll get to that as well. It's not a bad club, but it's a good club. When I was at my club, I was all alone, and there was no one in there. It was all closed up. It was on weekdays. The club that I used to go to is open on the weekends, every first and third Saturdays, and I'm a member there. And that when I was there all myself, I was working on the areas, I was working on the layout, working on everything, and out of nowhere I hear a faint voice, and when I was looking, I see my at the side of my eye, I see a figure standing right at the doorway, and right when I looked, it stood there for 5 seconds and then disappeared. That's when it changed my life, when I started believing in the paranormal and stuff like that. Because the spirit, I didn't know who I saw. I don't really know who I saw. I could have, the building where the club is at is haunted, and that's where I'm going to be doing most of my ghost hunting videos at, and some other places as well. And when I was doing some research on the area, it used to be an old jail place, an old courthouse, all that stuff. And And it was really amazing when I saw it. So that's mostly the reason why it got me so attached to the paranormal and all that other stuff. The the other reason why I'm starting this video is because of how I'm so inspired of, as I said, of all the unbox reviews, all that stuff like my friend Lego Train 489 does, what his trains or stuff like that. Like he unboxes his videos. He unboxes his little layouts, his trains, and he shows off his locomotives. And he's also a member at my club at the term. It's called a train club. Well, we call it a train club, but it's actually called a model railroading club because what we do there is that we run trains. Like I have behind me a train layout. This one is not really. It's not really that like. I'm still working on the layout, but it has like some TLC on it. And this one is called N scale layout. There are different gauges in layouts that they're popular. There's G, 1, O scale, HO scale, and N. N is the smallest popular scale. The most smallest scale that's ever made is Z. Z scale is the smallest ones ever. But it's not really that popular. Because the reason why it's not that popular is because it's too fragile and the locomotives, even though they're so detailed, it's too hard to hold them because you don't want to. It's so hard to hold them because you don't know where to put your hand on it, and you're scared that you might break the details. With N scale, it's not that hard. Like, see, with this little locomotive right here, that's an N scale. And see, in this thing, it's easy to put your hand on, and it's simple. You can't break it or anything. But with an HO scale, is also different. See, here, I'll show you a thing of an HO. See, here's an HO car. It's a cleaner car. See the bigger difference? Here's an HO. Here's an N. See the different size? HO stands actually for half O. O scale is bigger than HO. And the bigger it gets is then G scale and then 1 scale. Between O and HO is S scale. S scale is almost like 1 scale. See, what G gauge is who like detailed, but that's with LGB. With all these other railroad companies that are making like LGB, MTH, Rail King, Bachman, Broadway Limited, so on and so on, all the famous companies. See, LGB mostly makes G gauge. With 1 gauge, it is mostly like Rail King, MTH, Merklin, all the other guys. And with those guys, they're more detailed and all that stuff. The much bigger the locomotive is, the more detailed it is. It's the same way with lots of other companies. See, with scale trains, even with their HO's locomotives, they make their locomotives look really realistic. And I'm glad that they do that. And it's really amazing how they do it because how fine detail they do on it. With the other companies, yes, I do give them credit for working really hard on their locomotives and with the rolling stock, trying to make them get really good into details on their locomotives and rolling stock, but and those are mostly like sometimes the cheapest ones, and that's how you see in lots of different locomotives. Like the more detailed it is, the more expensive it is. The less detailed it is, the less expensive it is. And that's how it mostly works. It also works on the value of the locomotive or the rolling stock. See, like, if the locomotive was like, it came down like in 2002 and it was being sold in 2005 or 10, it would have also, the price would have gone down. Because one is not new. Even though it wasn't even run, it's still brand new, but it's also has been sitting in the box for a long time, and also when it's sitting in the box for a long time, it still ages because even though it hasn't run, but it still needs to be oiled, lubricated, make sure that it still runs. Because I actually had a locomotive like that. My dad actually bought a locomotive in 1980. And when I first, and he never had a chance to run it because he put it inside a storage shed, and when he put it away, he never had a chance to run it because it was so deep inside the storage. So when we were cleaning out the storage, I brought it out, and when I started trying to run it, it didn't run that well because how long it stayed inside that storage shed and inside that box. See, another thing that you also have to look for is make sure the locomotive was good taken care of, and also it was not in a place that had high humidity, like sweat, moisture, uh, doesn't get that cold that badly and also doesn't get that hot. See, with G and 1 gauge, they're able to stay the weather's conditions because they are able to run outside and stay outside. But with O, HO, N, and Z, they're not. So you have to keep them in a room where the temperature is good for them. It can't be too humid, it can't be too sweaty, it couldn't be even too hot nor too cold. Because any of those things, it will either damage the locomotive, damage the system in it, or do something with the box. And that's what I'll be also doing. That's what I'm going to be doing on this YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be like showing you different locomotives, different scales, different, like showing their differences, showing them how they work, all that stuff. Another things I'll be unboxing is like models, die cast models, also like figures, stuff like that. I will also be showing I'll be also doing some showing like family reunions if that ever happens again because this COVID-19, and to all those people that are going through this COVID-19 crisis, I am praying for you, and I hope that you and your family gets well, and I hope you all fight through this and get better soon. Like, I have some families out there that are also going through it, and I'm praying for them as well, but I'll also be praying for y'all. And I'm also going to be doing some other reviews, and also I'm going to be doing like some train watching videos, stuff like that, if I ever have the chance, because of how this COVID-19 is going and the pandemic and the shutdowns and all that stuff. It's been getting pretty hard to do this. That's why it's been hard for me to make a YouTube channel, because my plan was to make a YouTube channel on the New Year's Eve. And I wanted to, but lots of things started getting on to me. I kept on pushing me back. I just didn't have a chance to do it till now. And I'm glad that I finally do it. I am a little nervous that I will admit it to y'all that I am nervous on how this video goes out, because I'm new to this, and I really will be glad for your love and support on this channel, and at least it will be helpful, because I'm also trying to do some plannings on this YouTube channel, like doing an intro, doing an outro on this video, everything. Trying to make this YouTube channel better for y'all viewers, for everyone. I will also be like just like videos of me hanging out with friends, hanging out with family, stuff like that. And if that happens, then great, because I know that lots of y'all out there miss hanging out with your family members. I know out there it's been hard for y'all, especially for me. It's hard for me as well, because for me, I'll be honest with y'all, I have a condition, like when like I do get depressed sometimes, and I have anxiety and all that stuff. And that's one of my problems, and I'm working on it and all that stuff. And also I'm trying to work on how to be close to people, because yes, I do talk really good with people around. I have friends out there, but I'm not really good at like talking to people, if you know what I mean. Like, to people that don't know what I mean, it's like I sometimes like have a stutter, or like I shut down, or like I just I just have hard time explaining myself, like talking, or even have a good chat. Like, mostly like a person will ever get to me is like one single word or stuff like that. Like, I'm not really that good at being that talkative. And but when I'm like on videos, or when I'm like texting to someone, it's different. Like, when the person, like, that's why I'm scared of losing some more friends, because I've lost friends from that, is because when they see my text, they think that I'm like that in real life, in person. But to be honest, I'm not. Because even though I'm trying to work on that, and it is hard, but I am trying my best to do that, and also trying to make some new friends and all that stuff. I have also been I have also been hurt a couple of times in my life, like in relationship wise, family deaths, but I'll get to those in another video, in my story time videos. That's another thing I'll be doing on this YouTube channel. Um, but I'm just trying to work my best on trying to make myself better, and also trying to do everything good so I can make this YouTube channel better and good for y'all to like and love and all the other stuff. And another thing that I'll be doing on this YouTube channel is that I'll be introducing some of my friends, some of my family members, my pets, all that stuff. But those will be in another time, and that's it for today. This is King of Steams signing out. See you on the railways. Bye.